All right. Hey guys, welcome back to the Ground Up. I'm Jay, and today we're going to be comparing and contrasting INTP 5 wing 6 and ENTP 8 wing 7. Let's get into it. So I just want to start off by saying the reason I want to explain the reasons why I chose the Enneagram types that I did. For INTP 5 wing 6, I chose that because that's the most common type for INTP. So I want to sort of make a general type of analysis. I know there's also a 5 wing 4, but for now I'm going to focus on 5 wing 6. And for ENTP 8 wing 7, I chose that because, well, that's my Enneagram type and that's what I prefer to specialize in. I want to make sure that 8 wing 7s sort of get the spotlight that they need, and people get a better understanding of that particular Enneagram type of ENTP. So yeah, I like to start off by comparing the use of TI. So in the INTPs, the 5 wing 6, that is their dominant function. After that is any. Hands down, that's it. Their dominant function is TI. How this manifests within the INTP is that they want to usually be as accurate as possible, and so what they'll do is start to deduct. They often deduct from what they already know. What can you take away from this situation? What can we conclude? What can we take away from this? That's sort of their mindset, is sort of take away and deduct. And they also are concerned with taking the least amount of risk as possible. They really don't want to risk things. As a 5 wing 6, they often want to narrow things down and make it as simplified as possible, bring it down to a very useful thing in their system and their structure that they often use. And they just want things to be, not to have much risk in it. It's not about risk. And so we're going to look at that and say, well, how does that compare in the ENTP 8 wing 7? Because in the ENTP 8 wing 7, we also use TI very highly, more so than I would say a lot of other ENTPs. And so you would think that it would be hard to distinguish between the two, because ENTP 8 wing 7s can be known for using TI a lot. I'm not going to say all, but I would say that is a trait within ENTP 8 wing 7. The difference is this. Pretty much the INTP wants to use their TI and reduce risk. The ENTP 8 wing 7 wants to use their TI. We want to use our TI to take bigger risk. We're going to use that TI to take risk, but say, what are the odds that such and such is going to happen? And so we use it a lot whenever we're going to make big decisions on what to do, taking big risk. We still want to take a lot of risk, and we're about pushing that boundary, but we're going to use TI in order to make sure that, first of all, we're choosing the best risk to take, and it's going to be the biggest risk. It's going to be a big one, but we want it to be rewarding, and sort of at the same time, we want it to be the most fruitful. And so it would seem as if for the INTPs, they want to take things out that are not a part of what's already there, of their system, of their framework, and they sort of want to narrow down. And then ENTPs will go about it's still about the NE, it's still about which thing do I want to do. You have all these possibilities, and you look at it and say, which possibility do I want to pursue? The TI will sort of apply a disciplinary type of nature to the NE of the ENTP 8 wing 7. And this will give us a sort of more narrow sort of choice when it comes to what we're going to decide on, in comparison to something like more common, like a 7 wing 8, who would just sort of like choose an idea and go with it. We would take the risk, but we would do so in more of a systematic type of way. And a TI systematic type of way, we're still focused on the risk, on what we want to do, which is going to be risky. So yeah, that's just a small thing. And I know that there's a lot of times comparisons between 8s and 5s, and saying, how can you really differentiate when it comes to the thinker types especially. Well, the thing is that for any 5 type, you would say, let's compare like an INTP 5 type. They're going to be more focused on knowing for the knowing sake. They want to know information before the knowing sake of it. While an ENTP 8, we may want to know something, but it's not just for the knowing sake of it. It's because we're going to choose particular things that's going to make it advantageous towards us. Things that'll be advantageous towards something that we want, or that'll keep us in control of our environment or situation. And so they both want to learn, and they're both very keen on having that information. It's just that 8s will do it for control, and then 5s will do it for the learning sake of it. And the power is found in an 8. The power is found in the control of a situation, and they get that power via knowledge. For a 5, the power is the knowledge. It's just simply to know. To know is to have power. So yeah, those are the comparing and contrastings. Another thing, a small thing, would be how ENTP 8-7s are still able to gauge social, dynamics in a better way than an INTP would, for the most part, because with having a strong TI, but then having a dominant NE, and then of course after TI we have FE. We can, we'll use TI and FE as another advantageous point towards us. We'll sort of use that in a way to gauge social environments and to figure out people in that aspect, in that way. That's why oftentimes, let's say we can come off as ENFJs, because we can be very aware of how, of the extroverted feeling world around us. We're still very aware of how people work and what's going on in that sense. So yeah, that's it for now. It's a small video I'm making today. If you guys want any other topics on this matter, I know there's a lot I want to discuss in the future. I just sort of thought of this on the top of my head. I decided to, put it out there. But yeah, that's basically it. If there's anything else you want me to talk about, let me know down in the comments. And if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.